Hello, my name is Mackie. Welcome back to another edition of 60 Super Bowls in 60 Days. I have now covered 50 Super Bowls so far. And if you have made it this far throughout each and every day, I want to thank you for commenting, for viewing, for liking some of the videos, for subscribing to this channel. But by the way, as of the time of recording, I'm close to 15 subscribers, so that's great and all, of course. So thank you for doing all of these reviews and sharing all of my blabbering about different Super Bowls, talking about the great plays, talking about all the stats and all that stuff. Even though some people do not like stats at all, they just wanted to see me do highlights and all that stuff. But showing you the stats and talking about it and just creating a picture of what that Super Bowl is supposed to be like is incredible. But unfortunately, I have some very, very bad news. This entire Super Bowl review is going to go dark, like 030 dark. I've covered close games. I've covered blunders. I've covered guarantees. I have covered blowouts. I have covered great quarterback play. I have covered worst quarterback play. I have seen great rushing, great defense, great everything. I have seen them all throughout those 50 Super Bowl reviews. But as we're about to get ready for the final chapter of the Super Bowl review, we have now entered probably the most painful Super Bowl review in the history of all Super Bowl reviews. A Super Bowl review that is so bad, so heinous, so criminal that many people do not have any recollections about it, and even mention about it will be triggering to them. So I am going to warn you right now. If you are an Atlanta Falcons fan, this video is not for you. It is going to be painful to talk about it. It's going to be hurtful for many to talk about it. And if you feel like subscribing this video or unsubscribing it is your right of justice, go right ahead. But remember this. You have done this to yourself. You have brought this onto yourself. And trust me, I watched that Super Bowl. Everyone in America watched that Super Bowl. Families are watching that Super Bowl. And if you thought the most painful thing that happened in 2016 with Donald Trump being elected as president was bad, oh, it does not cover the range of meltdown that I've seen for so many Americans when about to do this Super Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we are reviewing Super Bowl 51. We are in NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. It is the New England Patriots versus the Atlanta Falcons. It is February 5th, 2017. It is Super Bowl 51. The Patriots won this 34 to 28 in overtime. The very first overtime game in Super Bowl history, mind. How do we get there? Oh, sweet child of mine. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But before that, we're going to get to the stats. Tom Brady was MVP of the Super Bowl. 43 for 62 pass attempts. 62 pass attempts. 466 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Matt Ryan, 17 to 23 for 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the rushing, LeGarrette Blount, 11 carries for 31 yards, 2.82 a pop. James White, 6 carries for 29 yards and 4.83 a pop and 2 touchdowns. Dion Lewis, 6 catches for 27 yards and 4.5 a pop. Devontae Freeman, 11 carries for 75 yards and 6.82 a pop and a touchdown. Tevin Coleman, 7 carries for 29 yards and 4.14 a pop. For the receiving, Julian Edelman, 5 catches for 87 yards and 17.4 a pop. James White, 14 catches for 410 yards, 7.86 yards, and a touchdown. I feel like James White should be an MVP in 3 touchdowns in a single game. My goodness. Damian Amendola, 8 catches for 78 yards and 9.7 pop and a touchdown. Malcolm Mitchell, 6 catches for 70 yards and 11.67 pop. Metellus Bennett, 5 catches for 62 yards and 12.4 pop. Chris Hogan, 4 catches for 57 yards and 42.22 pop. For the Atlanta receivers, Devontae Freeman, 2 catches for 46 yards and 23 a pop. Tevin Coleman, 1 catch, 1 6-yard touchdown catch. Julio Jones, 4 catches for 87 yards and 21.75 a pop. Taylor Gabriel, 3 catches for 76 yards, 25.33 a pop. Austin Hooper, 3 catches for 32 yards and 10.67 a pop and a touchdown. For the defense, Trey Flowers, 2.5 sacks, 6 tackles. Those for New England. Dante Hightower, sack, 2 tackles and a forced fumble. Alan Bradford, have a sack, 3 tackles and a forced recovery. Jabal Shred, sacks, and 2 tackles. Kyle Van Noort have a sack, and tackle. Patrick Chung, Logan Ryan, 6 tackles. Devin McCourty, 5 tackles. Eric Cole, 4 tackles. Doran Hallman, 3 tackles. For the Atlanta Falcons defense, Robert Alford with an 82-yard interception return. Oh, goodness. Anyways, moving on. 11 tackles, fumble recovery. Grady Jarrett, 3 sacks, 5 tackles. Dwight Freeney, sack and a tackle. Courtney Upshaw, sack and a tackle. Keanu Neal, 13 tackles. Jalen Collins, 11 tackles. Deion Jones, 9 tackles, and a fumble. And of course, fumble. Ricardo Allen, 7 tackles. Devondre Campbell and Brandon Poole, 4 tackles. CJ Goodwin and Brooks Green, 3 tackles. Special teams, Stephen Gostkowski missed an extra point and 2 for 2 field goals. Matt Ryan, 4 for 4 for field goals. Total yards. New England 546, Atlanta 344. Atlanta and New England turnovers at 2 total. So you're asking yourself, okay, this is a really close game, high power offense between these two teams. You know, the great Atlanta Falcons offense against the mighty Patriots team until the Team 12. It was a back and forth game, high power, high scoring, ping pong kind of thing, and then we reached the overtime, and then Tom Brady, his clutchness, actually win the game and all kinds of stuff. And that it was supposed to be this Super Bowl was about. This was supposed to be a high scoring Super Bowl. And that's what the Super Bowl was supposed to happen. If we uncover this entire truth, it is far more sinister, far more dark. Again, Atlanta Falcons fan, I'm warning you again. You're about to see something more painful and more heinous in your entire lives in which you'll never recover ever again. Okay? Final warning, guys. Final warning. Because it's time for me to unload this entire Super Bowl in play-by-play analysis. Thanks to the good people of Pro Football Reference, where you get all the stats, all the history, all this kind of stuff. It's a nice little trick. So please, if you have to, go to the website and all kind of stuff. This is not sponsored, but I like them for all the references. This is where I get all of these. And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Also, by the way, betting, of course, the Patriots are minus 3.5 point favorites. So yeah, actually minus 3 point favorites. So we begin. Falcons won the toss and kicked off, of course. Nothing happening around that time. Nothing really happening. First quarter over with nothing happening. So, okay, fine. Quiet first quarter. Fine fourth quarter. And then Matt Ryan, short pass to Julio Jones, 19 yards. And then Julio Jones again, 23 yards. Right tackle for Devontae Freeman. And then another for Devontae Freeman, 9 yards. Dan Freeman again scored for 5 yards to make it 7-0 Falcons at the second quarter. That was in 12-15 remaining. Keep that in mind, of course. Then nothing happened on the Patriots side. Then Matt Ryan again gets the ball, and then a pass completed by Austin Hooper for 19 yards. And of course, Matt Ryan took one again to make it 14-0 with 8:48 remaining in the second quarter. Okay. Then nothing happened on the Patriots front. They move in the drive, of course. They drive the ball, of course. Dominate the drive, not too much. And then the big moment. Tom Brady passed the ball, of course, trying to get to Amendola, but then tipped off, intercepted by Robert Alford. He came rushing in. Tom Brady trying to tackle the ball, but unfortunately he just whiffs because quarterbacks are not good at tackling, let's be honest. And then you see Robert Alford, green grass, all the way striding, score a touchdown to make it 21-0 in favor of Falcons. 2:36 remaining in the second quarter. And then, of course, Tom Brady gets the ball back again. They drive, of course, and with about 5 seconds left, Stephen Gostkowski kicked a field goal to make it 21-3 at the half. 21-3 at the half. We're not into the egregious stuff yet. And this video might get longer than any Super Bowl review, but you know what? The longer I can go, the more I can understand. So on to the third quarter, on to the second half. Stephen Gostkowski kicking, Matt Ryan, of course, calling it, and the ball again. Then Tom Brady does something again. And then Matt Ryan makes a critical drive. Keep going. Devontae Freeman with a couple of rushes. And then Matt Ryan with a cool pass to Tevin Coleman for 6 yards. And Matt Prater kicked the extra point. And ladies and gentlemen, Falcons are winning this game by 28-3. With 8:31 remaining in the third the win probability at that time, and I'm going to spitball the win probability they had. It's around 98%, of course, at that time, maybe 99.5% if you're a Falcons fan, with helium and copium in your faces, of course. And also keep that in mind that the Atlanta Falcons have never, ever won a Super Bowl. The two Super Bowls that I cover, I think the one Super Bowl that I covered was when John Elway's last Super Bowl was a beatdown. Let me just see if I can find it. It was Super Bowl 33, I guess. This was the Atlanta Falcons beatdown of the Denver Broncos, in which this game was over and around. Chris Chandler was absolutely awful, and that was the only Super Bowl that they made. And let's be honest, many people think that the Atlanta Falcons will never get anything close ever again. But here they are in the 51st Super Bowl, and they were close. They were so flipping close. They were dominant on it. They managed to rattle Tom Brady. Tom Brady even threw a pick for good measure. Everything was coming up Falcons. Literally everything coming up Falcons. If you're watching that Super Bowl at the time on your TV sets as a Falcons fan, you would be popping champagne until the cows go home. The odds of a big lead being blown like this, a Super Bowl like this, would be minimum. Minimum. You can just take a field goal, kick some knees, make it a boring second half, and then just be like, Falcons won the Super Bowl. Falcons are Super Bowl champions. It would be the greatest thing that ever happened to Atlanta in a long, long time. And it was supposed to be the greatest thing that ever happened in Atlanta in a long time. But oh my goodness. I just, well, you know what? Let's just go down. There's no way that the Falcons blew a lead this large in a Super Bowl. So, of course, Tom Brady's going to keep trying, of course. Tom Brady's going to keep trying. He's going to keep throwing the ball. Deion Lewis, of course, rushing tackle. Then Tom Brady completes some passes, of course, and then Tom Brady being Tom Brady, and then they're in front. Getting some rushes, of course, and then Tom Brady completes a pass to James White for a 5-yard touchdown to make it 28-9. Yes, 28-9 because of, Gronkowski makes a field goal. And you know what? Since we're down so big and we're kind of late in the Super Bowl, an onside kick. It worked for the Saints, of course, in Super Bowl 44. Why not it does? And it did not. So now, it's 20-9. It's closer to the end of the third quarter. Atlanta Falcons fans are just like, we're going to make it, baby. We have made it to paradise. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, everything you have done, man. And, thank you for delivering the Super Bowl to the city of Atlanta after so many years of pain and misery and all kinds of stuff. And that's what the Atlanta Falcons were. The Atlanta Falcons were just celebrating at that time. This was their coasting period. This was their celebratory quarter at that time. The third quarter ends with pretty much nothing. We're at the fourth quarter. Falcons fans are celebrating. They're about to high-five each other. They're popping champagnes. But, of course, the game continues. Tom Brady with some completed passes. James White with a run. Then Tom Brady with some incomplete passes. And then some completed passes, of course, by Tom Brady. And then sacked. And then Tom Brady keeps completing passes. And then Stephen Gronkowski hit a field goal to make it 28-12. Okay, 28-12. It's cool. 9:48 remaining. They have to score like 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions to even get to our tie. Come on, guys. We still didn't win. We're like 85% win probability, of course. Come on. We're still good. We're fine. Cool. We'll continue. Okay. Whoa. And then it got really hairy. So Tevin Coleman with 8 yards and then Miller with 1 yards. And then, this is the Atlanta 36-yard line, of course. This is the Atlanta 36-yard line, of course. And, Matt Ryan was about to take a snap, of course. And then Devontae Hightower just blasted through the running back. Just blasted through. I think if I can guess, one of the running backs. Let's just see. Who was responsible for tackling him? Was it Devontae Freeman? Yeah, Devontae Freeman. Hey, Devontae. You're right there with Matt Ryan. And then there's a high safety coming, and then you decide to whip yourself. You whip that tackle, and unfortunately for Devontae Hightower, he made Matt Ryan fumble, covered by Alan Branch, at the 25-yard line. And where's Alan Branch, by the way? Is Alan Branch in? Oh, Alan Branch is from the Patriots. Oh boy. But hey, listen, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. There's no way the Patriots scored a touchdown. Oh my God, they did. Tom Brady got sacked. Then a couple of completed passes, and then Tom Brady scored a touchdown to Danny Amendola for 6 yards, and then it converted to 2-point conversion by James White, and now 20-20. And all of Atlanta are absolutely sweating bullets right now. This game was a 28-3 beatdown with 8:31 remaining in the second quarter. It was a wrap. And now the Patriots score 17 unanswered points to make this a close game, to make it a sweaty close game. But hey, you know what? You know what? We're cool. All we just need to do is to drive down the field. It's 5:56 remaining. Just kick a field goal. Patriots have to do anything, of course, to try to win it, of course, in crazy circumstances. Hell, they even tried an onside kick and fail. So, all right, we're cool. We're cool. We're absolutely cool. Okay, so Matt Ryan completed a pass to Devontae Freeman. Okay, 39 yards. And then, another tackle. And then Matt Ryan completed a pass to Julio Jones for 27 yards. And he just absolutely sticks to that stuff. He catches the ball, of course, and have that toe down at that turn. Really down at that turn with a two-handed catch. Julio Jones was an absolute beast at that time. He was an absolute beast at that time. And with that, of course, they put it in the New England 22-yard line. And then, of course, they got sacked. And then, no, Matt Ryan, you're not supposed to be sacked. You're in field goal range. You're in field goal range. You're in field goal range. Oh, my God. Okay, we need a play to recover. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Mohamed Sanu, 9 yards. We're back in field goal range. We're in good shape. Jake Matthews. What the hell? Offensive holding. And by the way, I think Jake Matthews is like the brother of Clay Matthews, I guess, and also one of the best long-standing offensive tacklers in the history of football. For the longest offensive tackler to do that, like why? Oh, the pain is going to get worse. The pain is going to get worse. Anyways, passing complete for Tyler Gabriel, and then they decided to punt to Julian Edelman for the 45-yard line at the New England. So Tom Brady have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to get at least 91 yards to tie the game, to get a touchdown, to get a 2-point conversion to tie the game. Okay, all Atlanta have to do to make one step. I mean, yes, I know our defense can gas us, of course, by having the bad offense, not doing anything much. But as long as our tired offense make a stop, we're golden. We're still going to win the Super Bowl. We're still going to win the Super Bowl. And then the dam burst. Then the dam absolutely burst. So before that, 2 incomplete passes to Chris Hogan. Then third and 10, a big pass caught by Chris Hogan for 16 yards. Then incomplete pass, of course, and then pass complete by Malcolm Mitchell for 11 yards. And then okay, so let me talk that briefly. So the 2 Super Bowls that I'm talking about. So there are 2 Super Bowls that I want to talk about. Everybody knows these 2 Super Bowls pretty well. And actually 3, if you want to talk about it. First, Super Bowl 42, in which we saw the great David Tyree helmet catch, of course, that sealed the victory for the New York Giants. And then it was Super Bowl 46. And then it was Super Bowl 46, the rematch, of course, that, of course, won by New York Giants and helped by a Mario Manningham catch from the sideline. And then to even go further, we got the Super Bowl 49 blunder, of course. But before all of that happened, we got the amazing circus catch by Jermaine Kearse, of course, on the sideline. When he kind of like fumbling around in the thigh area and then caught the ball. And that was before the stupidity of the last one. All three of those plays were involved in the New England Patriots. All three of them. Two were on the winning side, two were on the losing side, of course, Giants, and then one come on the winning side, as I mentioned. All three of those incredible catches go against the New England Patriots. All three were thinking to themselves, New England may not win the Super Bowl. New England are cooked up. But then and then, one of them is about to go their way. Lady Luck was smiling so heavily on the Falcons early on, but now turned the other cheek into the Patriots. So I'm going to give you a little detail about this play. Tom Brady threw the ball into Julian Edelman, and then he got swatted. The ball was swatted in the air. And there were so many people. Julian Edelman was covered like two defenders. He caught the ball. And then before the ball even reaches the ground, he re-caught it. And it was inches. You want to know how close this was? This is how close it was. I mean, the ball was close to the ground. And he re-catched it, trying to make sure the ball did not even, on the ground, of course. Because let's be honest, it wasn't catch these days in NFL terms. And of course, the pass was complete, the play was upheld, and every single Atlanta Falcons fan will be thinking, pain. Absolute pain. And the game just pretty much go downhill from there. Amendola with a 20-yard pass completed for Tom Brady, then a 13-yard completed for James White, then a completed pass to James White, and then James White with a 1-yard touchdown to make it 28-26. And all Atlanta had to do to stop the two-point conversion. After everything in this game, all Atlanta had to do to stop the two-point conversion and just win the Super Bowl outright. Look at the clock. Look at the clock. Like, it was 1 minute remaining. All you had to do was just stop one play, and the game was yours. And unfortunately, they just cannot. And then Tom Brady passed with Amendola, and then Amendola pushed through. And then the two-point conversion done it. And ladies and gentlemen, Atlanta Falcons just blew a 28-3 lead. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I said the word 28 to freaking 3. Are you kidding? I have seen chokes this harder than a choker, of course, from Freya, from Chainsaw Man. This is the worst choke I have ever seen in my entire life. And I warn you, Atlanta Falcons, this is on yourself. Have you would have done anything around this game, of course, at that time? Make a field goal, bleed the clock, not allow Tom Brady to do his thing. You would have become Super Bowl champions. You would have become Super Bowl champions 10 times over. But nope, you're brought it to yourself. And unfortunately, or fortunately, if you for some of the fans, of course, this game mercifully goes to overtime. I've covered 50 Super Bowls so far. But this is the very first overtime game in the history of the NFL, in the history of Super Bowls. Now, we are currently at the rules that time, that both teams will get the ball regardless of score, and that was it. That was, brought about by the 13 seconds of madness between the Bills and the Chiefs in 2018. Or was it 2022? It was 2022. It was 2022 divisional round between Chiefs and Bills, 13 seconds. And that rule was applied, in today's world. But we are not in today's world, ladies and gentlemen. This game was taking place in 2015. Do you know what was the overtime rules in 2015? Do you really want to know what the overtime rules in 2015? If a team receives the ball and scores a touchdown, the game's over. Let me repeat again. If the team receives the ball and scores a touchdown, the game ends, regardless of anything. If, they got stopped, next 4 weeks. But if the team receives the ball, drives on the field, scores a touchdown, game over, that is your Super Bowl. It all came down to a coin toss. This game for the Atlanta Falcons was a 99% chance of winning this game. And now it comes down to a 50-50 coin toss. But hey, listen, Mac, Matt, I know it's been a bad Super Bowl, of course, from your perspective, of course. Took the 28-3 lead. It's painful, of course. But hey, listen, as long as you win the coin toss, get the ball, drive down the field and win the Super Bowl, all forgiven. All will be forgiven. Let's just see. Yeah. Yeah. Patriots got the win the coin toss, receive the ball, and unfortunately for the Atlanta Falcons defense, that has been on the field for like 30, I don't know, an hour. Tired, drenched, and mentally destroyed, considering that they were so close to winning the Super Bowl. And see Tom Brady just torch the whole field for like 25 unanswered points. Yeah, it was going to go one way only. And unfortunately for me, it's time for me to bury this entire Super Bowl and the Falcons' demise into one single sweep. So Tom Brady completed a pass to James White, then completed a short pass to Amendola, then completed a short pass to Chris Hogan, then he pass complete for -3 yards to James White. Okay, cool. Then pass complete to Julian Edelman. Then James White running for 10 yards. Then pass complete for incomplete for Martellus Bennett, but unfortunately penalty on Devontae Campbell, of course. Then incomplete intended to Martellus Bennett. And then to quote my friend Joe Buck, toss to White. He is in for the end zone. Patriots won the Super Bowl. Brady has his fifth. What a comeback. Yep, that is how we get to score this scoreline. Patriots 34, Atlanta Falcons 28. It is the largest ever comeback overcome by any team in Super Bowl history. Tom Brady pretty much cements himself as the GOAT of all GOATs and quarterbacks with his fifth Super Bowl, another MVP trophy to his mantle, and the joy of Patriots fans everywhere realizing what an incredible comeback. But let's be honest, Patriots fans would be tuned off after that. After the second quarter, they were tuning off their television in the second quarter. There was no way the Patriots were going to win that Super Bowl at that time. No way. And for them to stay on, to keep watching their team, fight after fight after fight for every Brady throw after Brady throw after Brady throw, for them to actually win the Super Bowl like this, that's all to you. You deserve the Super Bowl. It was a hard fought, but you deserve the Super Bowl. And I think this comeback will live in infamy for the rest of their lives. But for the Falcons, to quote Billy Madison, Adam Sandler movie, you blew it. You effing blew it. You had the greatest offense to ever grace the league. You had Matt Ryan at the peak of his power. By the way, MVP Matt Ryan, of course. You have Julio Jones. You got Devontae Freeman. You got everything that you wanted. But by the way, do you know who coached the team? By the way, do you know who coached the team? You know who coached the team? I want to guess. Guess who coached the team? It was Dan Quinn. You got a defensive-minded coach in Dan Quinn with an offensive guru in Kyle Shanahan, of course. You had everything, freaking everything to win the Super Bowl. You had a lead of 28-3 and around the second quarter, and you blew it. You conceded what? 31 points. 31 points in the last 14, 20 plus minutes of this game. You could have just kicked a field goal, take knees. You'd won this game by a country mile. But as we've seen from this entire play day, Falcons fans, at the time, were celebrating, were popping champagnes, were doing anything. But now, slowly, surely, those champagnes are going to be used to be consumed over and over and over again until the end of time. Ever since the Super Bowl, Falcons fans have never recovered from it. In fact, they can't even make it to a Super Bowl. They can barely go to the playoffs. That's it. Hell, they even fired their coach and GM, of course, just this season. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. I just have nothing to say about this. I've been talking about it for like 30 minutes, of course, talking about the Super Bowl. That's how ridiculous the Super Bowl was. And that's how painful the Super Bowl is to be a Falcons fan. So I'm sorry, Falcons fans. You did it to yourself. If you could have done anything after 28-3, this would have been a shorter failure. But it isn't. And unfortunately for you, this is where the pain ends. And thank you all for listening to me rambling and talking about the Super Bowl. It has been a blast talking about it. Tomorrow we'll be going to a nice, quiet, shorter Super Bowl, of course. Pretty decent game between another two great teams. And don't worry, no blown leads are going to be taking place. Although Kyle Shanahan later on will be part of a blown lead. But not as big as this one. Yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Atlanta, go screw yourselves. And I'll see you all next time.